Hey guys, welcome to Last Man In Podcast, episode 58, Chris Letang.
Damn.
Who could that be?
Who is that? Could it be?
John Cena!
I hope it is! Is it John Cena? It's Greg!
I'm back!
Yay!
Hey, sorry, my travels from Kenora are very long. I'm here now.
Jesus. He left a week ago.
Let me dust off this seat of mine.
You had to move it. We used a different chair.
We're using that one over there. See that one? That's the chair now.
The set has changed a little. We have a different iPod.
Yep.
We have a different book.
Different book. There's freaking safety scissors here.
No, there's artsy scissors.
They're
Oh my god!
It's a safety dance.
I'm
Come on,
totally
everybody,
using
it's a
this.
safety dance.
You need this, Dan?
Yes,
Can I cut it?
Is it?
That's
No,
employee
no,
acknowledgement.
I'm good. You can have it.
Look at the design.
Great. Yeah, it's
Okay, we're
squigs.
way too amused by this. What's up, guys? Oh wow, I was gonna say my name. Yeah, that's bad.
The peddler.
Yeah, no.
Greg, he's
no,
back.
Going back into my
He's
YouTube days.
better than ever.
Back in my YouTube days. Here.
Hey, we are behind closed doors right here. So,
Nonetheless,
news.
lots to talk about today.
Let's do it.
First of all, it's my welcome back show. Don't get used to it. I'm only going to be here for probably 1 or 2 shows in a row, but glad to be back in the journal seat. It's you know what? It feels good. It feels right.
It feels right instead of hearing you over this like
Yeah.
grubbly
Muffled
phone.
phone.
Oh yeah, no, I'm incoming.
So, to answer the Sport Guy's question on YouTube,
Yeah.
yes, there is a podcast this week.
That's awesome.
But we delayed it 2 days so that I could come in. I am actually the only reason why I'm here to kind of break down that fourth wall.
Break that wall.
Break the ceiling.
Just go through the ceiling. No,
Shit.
this is why this needs to be on video. It'd be hilarious. Is I'm going to Wisconsin tomorrow. We're leaving around 4:35 a.m. and driving to Milwaukee. We're gonna go see the Brewers play. And then we're gonna go see. We're gonna go to Madison, watch the Badgers play against Troy on Saturday. Then we're gonna see the Sunday nighter Packers, Seahawks. So, future Greg, when you listen back to this episode, I hope it's a lot of fun. You're gonna be like, "Yeah, it was a lot of fun, past Greg," and I'll be like, "Yeah, future Greg, you probably had a blast." Now let's get to hockey.
That was for you, wasn't
That
it?
was just-
yeah, that was
Sitting on
real
that for a
weird.
while.
Dan and I were just sitting there looking at you. Okay,
All
let him
right.
go. All right, well, Jets news. I have
Yeah,
a
let's
few
go.
Jets news.
Let's talk about Jets.
Let's just wrap up Penticton Young Stars tournament. They played the Flames first. They lost 3-1. Brendan Lemieux with the lone goal. Did you watch that game at all, Dan?
I did not.
Greg?
Whatever I was at your work for.
Okay.
That's all I watched. So 2 seconds.
Perfect. Well,
I
from
saw the penalty shot. That
From
was
what
about
I
it.
noticed, they were Jets seemed pretty undisciplined, but then again, there were a lot of penalties in general in that tournament, so that was everybody. Game 2, they took on the Canucks. They lost 4-1. The lone goal coming from Josh Morrissey, and then they played the Oilers in their last game. They won 5-4 in overtime. Ehlers having 3 assists. Now, what I do want to make note of
It's the Oilers and they don't have defense or goaltending.
was, well, kind of, not really. But what I was going to make note of was the Oilers didn't play any of their superstars. Draisaitl played only because Greg Chase was supposed to play, but then had a last-minute foot injury. Else, Draisaitl wasn't going to play.
Okay.
But from what I noticed, the Jets couldn't seem to really get it together. But mind you, they're only together for a week before this tournament, if that. It seemed, though, to me, Ehlers wasn't trying that hard in this tournament. For good measure, I guess.
He got cranked headfirst into the boards by BK Subban's little brother, though,
Jordan?
in the Vancouver game. Pretty hard.
Oh, really? I didn't notice that. I
Oh,
didn't
he
watch
got like
the rest.
cross-checked like headfirst in the boards, and then Lemieux came in and tried to kick the
Well,
shit out of Subban.
I like
And
Lemieux
in
a
a
lot.
typical Subban fashion, he walked away.
Unbelievable.
Just saying.
The hate is strong with the Subban family.
See, here's the thing,
Yeah.
though.
Now it is.
In
Now it is.
typical Lemieux family, not Mario family, the Claude Lemieux
True.
family, goes in defends his teammate. Just a good, solid character. A good old Canadian kid.
A good Canadian kid. I don't know.
I think he's American, actually.
Lemieux?
Yeah.
No, he's Canadian.
No,
Is
he's
he?
Canadian.
Okay.
Oh, to correct
Just making
myself,
sure. I was a little
Jansen
worried.
Harkins. I
Yeah.
had said that he's Canadian. He's actually both. He's American,
What?
born in Cleveland, but he's Canadian. He's dual citizenship, but he plays for Canada.
How the hell can you have a name Jansen Harkins and be a Canadian American dual citizenship?
Canadian born in America.
Doesn't make sense.
Makes no
At all.
sense.
Voodoo wizardry and bullshit.
That's exactly true.
Yeah.
That's a good
It
point.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
No, it makes zero sense.
Jets announcer.
It doesn't even seem like he's a real person.
He can't
He's
be
real.
He's got to have some Swedish or Finnish in his background.
Swedish.
Probably.
Swedish.
I didn't look that far
Swedish.
into it. I just saw his Wikipedia page.
Or maybe he's
Were you staring at
secretly...
his picture? Is it spy? Okay, we got to stop.
John Cena! You guys excited for Night of Champions? I am.
No, because I'm more excited for the hockey season.
True.
Yeah.
Training camp open today. No big surprises with anything like that. Oh, Stempniak got a pro tryout to where, Dan?
place where things go to die and then be reborn, and it just ends terribly for everybody.
Which is what, Greg?
Jurassic Park.
Hell yeah. And you know who else is there who signed a 1-year, $800,000 deal?
Yuri Tulusty.
Boom. Yeah.
Interesting.
Both players, mind you, that I was a little surprised Toronto didn't go after for PTOs because they needed roster guys. But we'll move into why that might not have happened in a bit here.
Whoa, where you could go about it right now?
No, we have Moose droppings.
There's nothing for Moose
They
droppings.
signed John Adler today.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Yep.
To
missed that
an
on Moose
AHL
droppings.
deal, and they also signed one other player.
Someone I don't remember.
Oh, Ben
Um,
Walker. They signed him too.
Boom. There you go. Moose droppings.
Well, bam. All right, let's
There's
just...
still no official radio announcer either for Manitoba.
Really?
I haven't heard
Someone
anything
wrote
yet. I have not heard
Oh,
anything
okay,
yet.
maybe we
I
just
looked up.
haven't... Like, I didn't
Maybe
look
it's
into
gone
it.
over our heads.
Yeah.
Maybe it's gone in one ear, out the other.
Yeah, maybe. Just
Ooh.
maybe.
Ooh.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, it's
YouTube name drops, guys. Look out. Okay, Greg, you had NHL news you want to talk about.
Yeah.
It's pretty big.
My team did something.
Pretty good, too.
I
I like it.
don't know how I feel about it, but
I like it.
here's why. So the Leafs acquired Michael Grabner today from the New York Islanders
Mhm.
for 4 prospects.
Yes.
You
You want me to name them?
Matt Finn.
Yeah.
They also got. You can name the rest.
Taylor Beck.
Taylor Beck. That was
Tom Nielsen.
Tom Nielsen.
Christopher Gibson.
Yes. Okay. So let's start with the first forward.
Taylor Beck.
Taylor Beck. I'm okay with him leaving. He wasn't really going to Mountain. It was 5 prospects. Sorry, there was also Verhaeg on there. So it was 5
he's up
prospects.
there. Sorry. I missed
Yes.
him.
So Taylor Beck might have been one of those guys that was up and down in the AHL, NHL.
Well, he was up and down with Nashville. I remember when he first got drafted, Taylor Beck was touted to be like their next, or their savior at prospect with like goal scoring and prowess. Like he does have goal scoring prowess apparently, but didn't they just sign him this offseason?
Yeah, but there's a reason why they did what they did, and we'll get into that in a
Oh,
second.
here you go.
With Verhaeg, I don't mind. Like, I don't think a lot of these guys were gonna become anything, especially with Nielsen. Nielsen, Verhaeg, to me, were gonna be AHLers. Beck might have made the NHL this year or next year, but really, it's not a huge loss. A huge loss to me is Matt Finn and Christopher Gibson. Matt Finn was a guy that was touted to be like Stuart Percy in the sense that he could be up and down in the NHL, AHL. But last year he encountered a lot of injury problems, was in the ECHL for a bit. So this might be a new chance for Matt Finn to reignite his career. Like, the thing was, the Leafs had 3 really good defensive prospects about 3 years ago. Matt Finn, Jesse Blacker, and Stuart Percy. So Jesse Blacker was traded away to LA in the Scrivens trade. He was part of that deal,
Okay.
I believe. And if I'm wrong, let me know. And now Finn's gone in this deal, and they still have Stuart Percy. So, I don't know. I thought keeping Matt Finn would be a good thing, because especially with them picking Marner this year over Hanifin, they are kind of thin at the defense side. They do have some other prospects there, but really, I don't know, I'm a little worried. But they also got rid of Christopher Gibson, which was a player that was essentially going to be backup to Antoine Bebeau in the Marlies. It gives Garrett Sparks, the goalie that started for the ECHL, Orlando Solar Bears last year, a chance to play split time with Bebo, or however you say his last name. I apologize for butchering it. From what I've heard, Gibson's a decent goalie, but I don't know if he's ever going to make it, especially with the goaltenders that are in New York with Halak and Neuwirth. So it'll be an interesting year to see this. But the big reason why they made this trade was Michael Grabner had an injury-prone
Wait,
season.
Neuwirth is with the Flyers.
He's with Flyer? No.
Yeah.
Oh, then who did the Islanders?
Either
sign?
way, they got someone.
No. Oh, that's right, because Islanders got him at the deadline last year.
Grace?
That's what I'm thinking.
Thomas Grace.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Maybe.
Either
I
way,
could be wrong.
sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So, nonetheless, Gibson will probably be in the AHL next year. Do they still have Bridgeport Sound Tigers? Is that who their affiliate is?
Toronto?
No, Islanders.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Bridgeport, yeah.
Okay. So the big reason why they did this, I think, is they got Michael Grabner, a guy who was injury prone last year, only played 34 games, only had about 14 points. So they get a guy who didn't have a great year last year, is on an expiring contract, that could essentially get top 6 minutes, will be on their penalty kill, might be on their power play, is fast as all hell, like he's one of the fastest players in the league, and he could turn into something that becomes better prospects than what the five guys they gave up are. And that's, I think, the Leafs' goal with this deal is it frees up contract spots because you're allowed maximum 50. Now they have 45 signed versus they're at 49. Now they're at 45 again. And that was Lamoriello's big reason for doing this trade is to free up some of those contract spots because they have a ton of PTOs. Setaguchi, they signed Brad Boyce to 1,
Glenn
Mark
Cross.
Fraser, and Glenn Cross.
Whoa.
Glenn Cross,
Glenn
yeah.
Cross.
That slipped through the
who's
cracks.
that
I
guy?
didn't even hear about
Yeah.
that.
Glenn Cross and who's Brad
Brad
Boyce.
Boyce.
Those are
So
big
they have
ones.
4. Funny thing, Brad Boyce, former Leaf pick.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Full circle
That's
on
What
who
does
he
it
was.
say, though, that guys like that have to resort to PTOs?
It means that it's
Like
a very,
Curtis Glencross 2 years ago was the untradeable Calgary Flame. Now he can barely... It's just interesting.
it's just a different NHL now.
It's a
There's a
shift.
lot more.
Yep.
It's not even that these players are good enough to find spots on teams. It's just the fact that they're trying to sign for more money than what I think is out there on the market, and it's very hard for a lot of these cap crunch teams to find ways to fit these guys in their lineups. There's a reason why he didn't get re-signed by Washington. He wasn't that great in Washington, and they had bigger aspirations. That's why they went after Justin Williams. But overall, I don't mind the trade, especially if they can flip Michael Grabner to get something like a high second round pick or even potentially a late first rounder. The other thing about this deal is maybe Michael Grabner turns into a serviceable player, and you can re-sign him for a decent amount next year. So overall,
He did score 34 goals
1 year.
2010.
And we already love
So-
Grabner because he was a former Manitoba Moose.
Exactly.
Yep.
He was seriously still one of the fastest hockey players I've ever seen play hockey.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to think.
Matt Duchene.
I mean, I've seen every NHL player play now. Duchesne's wicked fast. Kovalchuk was deceptively fast when I watched
He's
him.
quick.
He was real fast.
Well, it's because he was on New Jersey, and you
Jurassic
Yeah,
Park. So
exactly.
he was just the fastest
He was
of the
just-
slows.
exactly.
Yeah.
He's still pretty quick.
Yeah.
Obviously,
pretty fast.
We
Oh,
kid.
What are your thoughts as well, since we're on the Leafs, of Sundin getting named to Legends Row?
Awesome.
So now they have two.
He's-
They have Bort Salming, and Matt Sundin.
They
Is
also have. I thought they had 3. Thought Bauer was on there.
Oh
but I
well,
could
no,
be wrong.
I'm. Those
I
are the
thought-
two that I know.
They might have more. I'm sorry, I haven't kept up with it. It's an awesome idea, but at the same time, yeah, because they started with 3 and they've added Boris Salming and Matt Sundin
So now they have
instead of
5.
5, I believe.
Where is this thing gonna be?
It's just outside on the Air Canada Center because unlike the MTS Center where it's just sidewalk and then street, the Air Canada Center is more of a. It's like kind of like UND, I believe, where there's like room for things because you've got like Maple Leaf Square and stuff like that around it.
They built with that because they had the space to
Yeah.
work. Okay.
Where our arena is in a great position, kind of, but it's not in the best spot. But if they
Could be
build
better.
True North, if they build this True North Square that they're planning on,
Yeah.
it'll be a really awesome place.
Did
if
you
they can
guys see
build
the
that.
upgrades for True
Just
North?
gonna say that.
Sweet.
12
man.
million
What?
bucks.
Yeah.
For what?
The
For
new
the stadium?
there's a new score clock. There's,
Yeah, I've seen it.
There's 300 extra seats. There's a new light ring.
You know
Power
what?
ring.
The arena.
That I'm pretty sure that thing on the press box that says "Fueled by Passion" is a LED video screen now.
Oh,
It
cool.
looked like it was.
An LED video screen.
looked like it was in the
just
picture.
for like scores and stuff. Okay.
You know what?
It looked like it was. I could be
No,
wrong.
I believe you.
The
The new
I-
score.
I've only
If you
saw
guys
some-
haven't seen a picture of the new score,
It's
it
nice.
looks sick.
Yeah.
Looks
Oh,
really
it's great
nice.
compared to the square. I mean, it was
Yeah.
still nice, but it's like just that much better.
This is more Jets.
Yeah.
And this is more NHL level now
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
The other thing that I was listening to Leaf centric podcast with Steve Dangle, and he had, I think it was Alter on recently, David Alter, writer for Leafs.com, and he was saying how the Leafs last year took a really big advantage of having their AHL team in the same city as them with regards to the cap. So with the Manitoba Moose being with Winnipeg this year, and San Jose is the other team that has their AHL team with their NHL team. But with the Moose being with Winnipeg, you're going to see a lot more shifting.
No, Chicago Wolves aren't
aren't
the Chicago
Chicago's.
farm team.
Yeah.
That's right.
You're going to see a lot more shifting this year of AHL, NHL guys. You're going to see Brendan Lemieux probably come up and down a bunch just for cap saving reasons. You know, it's like, oh, we can save $10,000 on the cap by sending this guy down on Sunday. You know, we played Saturday night. We sent him down after the game for Sunday.
Is he done?
He comes back up on
junior
Tuesday.
eligibility?
Yeah, he's an AHLer. Or
I know they
NHL
signed him
next year.
to an entry level deal, but
I wouldn't be surprised if he cracks that lineup.
Jets lineup.
Brendan.
What?
Yeah.
I think the
Fourth
only spot
line,
that's
maybe.
open on the bottom 9 is that center position, which I personally think they're going to give all the chance to Andrew Kopp.
I think so too.
But why? Here's my question: Is great is
Well, because Kopp's a center.
as serviceable as Thorburn and Peluso are, for the nights where you play against a real skilled team, so not your Philadelphia Flyers or anything like that.
Okay.
But if you play like the Tampa Bay Lightning, where you don't necessarily need, or even the Boston Bruins now, because they're not the same team they used to be. When you go against a team where you don't necessarily need all the size that Peluso and Thorburn bring, where you need that grittiness, like against Tampa or even against Montreal is another team, you can bring Brendan Lemieux
Yeah,
up.
because he's
and-
always in the mix. Like, he was in
Yeah.
the mix at the Prospects tournament every time he was on the ice.
And I think he would benefit a lot more from even those small little few minutes that he would get. And I think it would make that fourth line a little bit more serviceable as well if he's on it.
So it would
because-
be like Lemieux, Kopp, like one of the three that
One
are
of the
available?
three.
The only thing
Okay.
is like
Who are the three? It's Thorburn, Peluso.
Peluso, and then
Halishuk?
question
Oh,
mark.
Halishuk.
I guess.
The only thing is they went out of their way to re-sign Thorburn. They went out of their way to re-sign Peluso. So I can't see those guys not
But
playing.
they don't need to play 82 games.
They don't have to play all of them, but I can't see those. I see those guys playing a majority of the
But
games.
Okay. Why
I
don't
mean,
you?
it's gonna change
Why
because
don't-
that fourth line never stays the same ever.
on
you
any
know,
team. Either.
And
So-
injuries, I think he's the first call up for injuries.
I think
because if Nick Patan and Nikolai Ehlers don't make this team out of camp, they might. Nikolai Ehlers will go back to junior, or he'll go overseas. One or the
he's
other.
overseas.
He's going
I'm
overseas.
certain.
Yeah, he
then-
even said himself. I think.
Then your
he's-
option, if Nick Ehlers doesn't make the team, which it looks like he probably won't right now.
Ehlers.
Okay.
From my perspective, I don't think
Okay.
he will. But then you have Nick Patan, who's got the potential to probably.
He got pushed around.
He could maybe
I don't
make
think,
the team.
I don't
In
think
that
so.
But-
Prospects tournament, I don't think Batan's on the team, but go.
He'll be in the AHL and he'll be getting top line minutes in the AHL or top 6 minutes, which is going to be huge for him. And he's going to learn and adapt to the game, and I could see him being one of the first call ups. Because really, at our center position, you're not going to move Lowry, you're not going to move Scheifele, and you're not going to move Little.
No, not your
So,
top.
and that's the only place you're going to see Patan. So if any of those three guys get hurt, I could see Patan coming in.
That's a great perspective.
Yeah, I can see
Think about
him in the A for this year. He'll be a call up, but I don't see him being a full time guy this year.
And
I don't see Josh Morrissey being a full time guy this year. I don't think they need to make him a full time guy this year.
unless they get rid of Enstrom.
I think Andrew Kopp is the favorite for the fourth line center.
Now,
I think that's who they're eyeing up. I think Ehlers gets 10 games for sure because they have too much invested in him to not, and he'll get 10 games on either the first or second line.
Yeah.
Because I think third or fourth line for him won't help, really.
I want to see him
Um,
play. Those first 10 games, obviously, a few of them are going to
Wild
be
card
at
though
home.
is Joel.
I want to see him play at home.
Wild card is Joel Armia because
The finishes.
sounds like they like him, and he's a big boy.
do they like
The
him?
fourth line.
What?
Do they like him, Dan? Because Dan texted us, what was it, on Sunday? When we were moving me
Oh.
into my new place.
But this
in Kenora.
yeah.
It wasn't from a reliable source, but we might as well talk about it.
Yeah.
So, you bring it up, Dan. You're the one that
Well,
mentioned it.
I just Twittered Winnipeg Jets to see if they were doing anything, like any guys are coming to training camp on PTOs or anything like that. And something that came up, I believe the Twitter account / website is called the Hockey Post. I don't know how credible this website is. They have 8,000 followers on the Twitter account. But it sounds like they do a lot of rumors and they claim that they have inside sources. So this article that I came across stated that the Jets, well, according to whoever wrote this article, there was no author, but their sources, quote unquote sources, I don't think there was an author, was there? It was just,
No, it was
on,
just a
on their
post,
website.
yeah.
Claim that the Jets are going after Jeff Skinner very aggressively, and that it's all but a done deal that he's going to become a Winnipeg Jet in the next month or so.
Okay. What are the
Again,
pieces going back?
That
We'll reiterate that it's not.
this
we don't know
trade
how
was
credible.
not what he heard. This is just what he would do.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
okay.
that's not the rumor. That's just his.
Oh, okay.
That's his proposed trade.
Okay, what was
His proposed trade was Adam Lowry, Joel Armia, a second-round pick, and a third-round pick just for Jeff Skinner. In my head, I can't see them parting with Adam Lowry.
I can't see them parting with Joel Armia. I think he was one of the big reasons why they
I
went after that
also
trade.
can't see Carolina taking that deal.
And also, just even the pieces involved in the player coming in is Jeff Skinner's
lot.
a smaller center/winger. Isn't that exactly what Ehlers and/or Patan is? We've seen what Skinner can do, though. But bringing in just
He also
Skinner,
has
you put him in on the
injuries.
second line, I guess. Drop him
The
in.
article, the reason. The article said that the reason they want him is because they want a younger, proven centerman to play with the other younger guys they have.
Okay.
Skinner scored 33 goals 2 years ago. He scored 29 goals his rookie year, I think. So he's proven he can score goals. They want someone younger but experienced. That's what this article claims.
Oh, okay, so they play him. Go ahead.
See, I understand that
So-
from that perspective. Like, it's a interesting perspective to take. Plus, he was coached by Maurice, but I don't see them pushing that hard at the Jeff Skinner idea, just because they're deep at center already. I guess in quotations, they are pretty deep though. And I don't see them parting with two guys that they worked really hard to get. And I don't think it's the Jets regime to give up these draft picks right now, because they still have a lot left to work towards to get to that cup championship. They don't want to give these picks away now. Why give them away in the preseason when there might be something available later on in the year where you could throw a second pick and get a guy like a Michael Grabner on your team?
I think the article...
Full
That's
circle.
True. The article also was heavily underlined the fact that they may not keep Ladd and Byfuglien. So that was which we don't know what's going on there.
I read from Darren Drager that this is straight from Darren Drager's Twitter. He said, he answered a question, and the question was, any word on Ladd? He responded, close on term, nowhere near money.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
Oh, if you can go
But
on,
then again, that's not weird in the sense because we all agree that's pretty much where we've been at for a while with Ladd.
Could Ladd be asking 7? The Jets are offering 5.5.
if you go
That could
off
be
the
it.
fourth period, they claim he's asking for 8-year, $6 million a year contract.
See that?
Roughly.
Damn.
Yeah.
Real?
Yeah. He wants
Whoa.
It's a tough deal.
he wants a long term.
I wouldn't give him more than 4. I'd
he's
give him the
30
same contract
yeah.
he got with maybe an extra mil.
He's 30 years old though. He wants to cash in
no,
long term.
I 100%.
You know.
Why not give him... Here's the thing that I've never understood is I understand having... Because you don't want to end up like a Brad Boyes, Curtis Glencross, and the other, tens of players who are on PTOs right now. I know Andrew Ladd doesn't want to do that when he's 36, 37, but why don't you take a deal that's going to help your team build towards a championship? One, you can win again. I understand you want to make a lot of money, but if you want that 8-year deal, take $4.5, $5 million so you can have a team around you. Why be selfish at this point? It's the same with Dustin Byfuglien. If you want to be a leader, you be a leader by taking less money. I know it's tough for us to say it because we're not in the situation they're in, but for me, if the number one thing on my mind is winning with the guys I have in my room, why wouldn't I take less money to stay in the room and be a part of that team and show the guys, especially these younger guys, the Trubas, the Scheifeleys, the Lowrys, that, hey, it's more about winning than it's about money. Because if you're chasing after money all the time, what's the great thing about that? You're just showing everybody that it's all about money. It's not about winning.
But he's a 60 point. He had 62 points last year. He's proven he's a 60 point guy, a 60 to 70 point player.
Mhm.
A 60 70 point player gets a lot more than $6 million a year nowadays.
And that's the
I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm saying that's the facts.
As what we talked about
So
previously.
is $6 million a year for your captain / a 60 70 point hockey player a bad deal? I don't think so.
I'm okay with
when
6
he's-
would be the most I would give.
When he's 38 years old,
That's
that's
the
when it
issue.
becomes
But then again,
problematic.
we don't know what the cap's going to look like at 6 years.
And you don't know how good Ladd's going to look in 5-6 years. Because 5-6 years ago, everyone thought he was a third, fourth line fringe NHL player. Now he's a captain, and he's,
In my opinion, it's the same as Dustin Byfuglien in the sense that, those first 4 years, you can pay him, in Ladd's case, you can pay him $6 million, $6.5 million. or in Byfuglien's case, you pay him 8. Those first 3-4 years are going to look great. You're getting a really serviceable player, a really good player for a reasonable dollar amount. You know, the guy's not going to hurt you. But it's those later years that you're really wondering, is this going to be the team? Because here's the issue, is if you sign Byfuglien or Ladd to 8-year deals, you're probably going to end up having to part with a quarter of their young guys that they've already drafted. Like, if you really think about it, they're going to end up having to get rid of the Wheelers, the Littles. Probably down the line, they'll have to choose between, do they want Trouba or Morrissey or Kostelek? And the list goes on and on. Who are you really willing to give up all these great future players to have these older players that are serviceable, okay, but overpaid? And I don't see anything. I understand. Like, I don't know why Ladd wouldn't be like, hey, I want a 4-year deal, $7 million. But when we revisit this, I'll take less money in the future for the next time that he comes around. Because if he proves it in 4 years, like the 4 years he's already had of his current deal, plus whatever he gets this year, he's proved that he's worth an extension. He's proved that he's worth decent money. He shows up every night. He works hard. He battles through injury. He's a great captain, leader on and off the ice. Great guy. I have no issue paying him $6 to $6.5, $7 million for 4 years. But why not say, okay, you did this for us, Andrew. He continues to be serviceable, so the Jets are like, hey, we'll give you a nice deal at the end of your contract, at the end of your career as well. Because I have no issue paying Andrew Ladd when he's 35 to play for $3.5 million. I have no issue with that.
Because he gave us his best and we worked out a deal.
And the other thing, too, is he can be there for leadership. But how long is too long for some of these deals? I think, personally, if I was ever a GM, and I probably wouldn't win a lot of players over with this, I would sign players for maximum 5 years. That would be my max all the time.
5 to 6, yeah. Well,
I wouldn't even go 6.
When you're even talking about like length and term and giving up stuff, prime example, Mike Richards, Jeff Carter, Ilya Brizgalov, who else?
You could go Patrick Kane in a sense too.
Patrick Kane. I'm just naming flyer players.
Oh yeah.
Like Voracek, Giroux. Voracek and Giroux signed, but I think Voracek signed until he's 37, and Giroux signed till he's 36.
And think about
that's a little insane.
Think about
and that's
LeCavalier with
Tampa.
Like that was crazy when they bought him out.
And it's contracts like that change the CBA. And I'm totally with you. I like the 5 year like Alex Anthopoulos with the Jays. He said, nope, I'm not gonna chase after a guy if he wants 10 years. And he doesn't know what he's gonna play like in 10 years. Why would I chance that? Like, Dan, what do you have any input in this? If you're giving Andrew Ladd a contract, what is it?
I don't know, because Chevy's been, like, historically, he's made, the Bogo deal was whatever it was.
I think we got a good player in return for him.
I think we got a better player in return, so that's off the books. But he's made good deals. Like, they have Blake Wheeler and Brian Little locked up in their prime years for very good contracts. Like, those guys are locked. I think Wheeler's got 3 years left, or no, he's got 4 years left. Because he signed 6, right? And Little's got 3 years left. And those guys are making, for what they do, for what they make, and for the years that they're going to be here for, those are great contracts. Because those nowadays would fetch probably quite a bit more than what they're paying for them. So I can't see them. I know they want to keep Ladd, and the Ladd wants to stay here, but when you got Jacob Trouba and Mark Scheifele and potentially Ehlers, Patan, Morrissey, these guys that are gonna,
and we're not even mentioning Roslovic or Connor
or Hellebuck.
You got a lot of. Well, with Hellebuck, I feel that the money that's been allocated for Pavlik will go to Hellebuck in the future.
Well, true.
Because Hellebuck could be a $6 million goalie. He could be, but it's goaltenders. You never know.
I don't know.
Could be Jamie Phillips is your number one goalie.
I guarantee.
Guys,
oh boy,
Jamie Phillips is Canadian, right?
I think so.
Off the podcast, I was a part of this like youth thing when I was younger, where it's like youth parliament, and there's a place called Chateau Gay in Quebec. Jamie Phillips is from Chateau Gay, but remember, like I make a joke, I'm like more like Chateau not so gay. Anyways, sorry.
Oh boy.
As you were.
Oh
Daniel.
boy.
Yeah.
I lost my train of thought, so I'm googling something. Hang on.
Okay.
Okay.
Other news.
Other news. All right. Sorry, guys. I just got so excited.
Oh, and other Leaf news. Everybody had their physicals. Nathan Horton went for his and failed it, so they're gonna essentially pay him long-term IR still. It's a terrible story with Nathan Horton. I'd love to see him play again, but just too many back issues.
Has
which
he
kinda
taken
sucks.
a picture in Leafs gear? Does he
No.
have to? No? Okay.
I don't think so.
Speaking of failing...
I don't even know if we can put on.
failing conditioning tests. All three Bruins first-round picks failed their conditioning tests. That's Jakub Zaboral, Jake Zabrusk, and Zachary Senyshyn. I'm sorry if I named you wrong, but all three of their first-round picks. If
Do you
you're
mean the
at
first-round picks they traded for Milan Lucic and Dougie Hamilton?
Yes, correct. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Real smart, real smart.
Yeah.
Remember, and all the Boston fans will be like, "Hey, remember when we won a cup in 2011?"
Yeah, that
And they'll
happened.
still bring up the
Remember
Phil
when
Kessel.
that'll never happen again? You remember that, guys?
Ever.
Remember when they traded Tyler Seguin and Dougie Hamilton for Phil Kessel? Yeah, remember what they have now for those players?
What I was
Just
going
wanted
to
to put that
add
one
to
out
the
there.
Jets thing before we get super sidetracked, the only guy, the two guys they have locked up for the longest time period right now, they got two guys locked up for the next 4 years.
No, it's really... Sorry.
Are we
They've
good?
got
Are we
two
good?
guys locked up for the... Yeah, Greg thought the phone was broken.
It is broken.
Okay, it's physically... It looks
Still do.
awful. Yes, I get that. Thanks, guys.
The only long-term commitments the Jets have, they have two guys signed for the next 4 years. Tyler
Okay.
Myers and Blake Wheeler. Everyone else is up before that.
Okay.
So this team could look great,
But-
if they're going full youth, this team could look very different in 2 or 3 years.
Understandable. But what I'm saying is like Stafford's contract will be off the books probably. But do you want Ladd and Byfuglien's contract leading you in till they're 38? It's tough. I don't see them signing both. I think Ladd should stay. I don't think an 8-year contract's the right thing. 6 years, I'm okay with.
I'm more okay with 4.
I'm way more okay with 4 too.
4 or 5 would be ideal.
But I think that's where a lot of the problems lie with that contract, right?
Well, and
Is-
when you have these young contracts coming in, you have to be conscious of that, which they are. Obviously, if we know about it, clearly they know about
Because, like we
Right.
said, this offseason is a huge offseason. I think they have to sign Lowry, who's probably going to get 3.5.
it. Yeah. Well, you want me to talk
If
about
he
Jacob
has another
Trouba,
good year.
for an example?
Trouba's probably going to get
Well,
6.
okay, I'm going to name players that have played in the NHL in under 21 with points per game season. So let's just start off. I came across this because it came across. Who's Riley's first name?
Morgan?
Morgan Riley. Points per 60 in his 2 under 21 years is 1.15. Hampus Lindholm is 1.2. John Carlson was 1.18. Nick Leddy is 1.13. Chris Letang is 1.12. Calgary fans, Dougie Hamilton's 1.43. He's the highest in that list. In the same time frame, Jacob Trouba's 1.03. So look at what those players are going to get, and that's a contract that Jacob Trouba will get because he's right in the wheelhouse.
So
Yeah.
he's,
So he's
getting $6 to
much-
$7 million.
I would say top
Likely.
end. Honestly, if I were Jets top end, I'd give him 6, only because if Dougie Hamilton got 5.75 and he's at top of that list. But then again, Dougie Hamilton
Yeah.
also was at the. He was on the good hand. There's a different word for it. Basically, he was on Boston, where like they're a pretty big team. Like they're very good offensively. They were at one point pretty solid offensively, and so Dougie was the centerpiece of that. But Jacob is the driving force for the most part. But he's not. I wouldn't say Jacob Trouba's the top dog in power play. I
No,
would
it's
give
Buffalo
that
and
to
Enstrom.
Buff, Enstrom, and even Myers. Myers has a cannon.
The other thing with Trouba is he was injured for part of his first season anyways. So those numbers might not reflect how good he could have been. But the other thing as well is why not pay Jacob Trouba $6 million? Here's why. They'll have Toby Enstrom off the books in a couple of years.
2.
2 years. So that 5.75 contract's gone.
Buff
that
is
could
off
be-
the books next year.
Yeah.
Hypothetically. if you don't-
Hypothetically.
you know.
So I'm just saying if he's still on. You lose Enstrom's contract, chances are you're probably not re-signing him. And if you are, it's at a heavy discount because Josh Morrissey, if he doesn't play this year, he'll be there next year. And that's 1 year of his contract. So in 2 years after that, Josh Morrissey will be getting paid as well. Because I would be shocked if our top tandem in 4 years is not Morrissey and Trouba.
I don't think Morrissey will ever get Trouba money, though. I don't. I personally don't.
I don't think he will. I'm with you on that one.
I don't even think he'll be top pair. I think.
Okay.
He might be Grant just for position because Myers and Trouba are both right-handed defensemen. But I think those are the two guys you build your decor around.
And I think it's good to have a guy like Josh Morrissey.
Oh, absolutely.
Who's
Absolutely.
an excellent first pass. He's quick. He's agile. The one thing that I think it's better for him to start the year in the AHL. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts playing serviceable minutes in the NHL this year. But the biggest reason is he's going to learn how to look peripherally in the corners and make smart plays with adults coming at him instead of teenagers. And I think he's going to learn the game a lot better. As as certain analysts would say, he'd become a student of the game.
Well, the Jets.
Why do
The
you?
dream right now is the Jets want like a Seabrook and Keith pairing one day, hypothetically. Which, just speaking of Brent Seabrook, he got named. He got given an A today because Patrick Sharp was a former.
So
Doesn't every NHL team want a Seabrook Keith?
Of course.
of course,
I think
or
that's
you
what
want,
they're going for.
or you want a Doughty or a Markov Subban or a Doughty and
Muzzin? Oh,
I think just before you,
yeah, go.
I think the Jets are set up that Morrissey doesn't make team this year. I think he makes it next year because they have Party, they have Harrison, Klitzum, Postma, all these guys that are up at the end of the year, and you might as well hang on to them because they're all valuable.
assets.
If you have
Maybe even trade deadline moves.
but,
right?
well, that too. But I mean, I'm saying if you had to throw any of those guys in, they'll get the job done. They're good enough. So I mean, I don't think they have to rush Morrissey, and I think they'll give him a year in the AHL, play against men, like you said. Maybe if they make the playoffs, they'll call him up, give him some time at the end of the year. Maybe they'll have him just in case they need someone for playoffs. But
Go.
He's
What
not-
are you going at? He's about to say something.
he's not making the team full time this year. I don't think.
Morrissey?
I agree with the
No.
not making team full time this year.
No.
The other thing, unless they can get rid of Enstrom or Byfuglien gets traded as well. One of those two things. If one of those two things happen, I could see him being full time. That's the only way. But the whole call up in the playoffs, I think that Moose are going to be a pretty darn good team.
Oh, that's what you're.
I
okay.
wouldn't be surprised if they
Could be.
make playoffs and go deep. But that is biased because, look at what we have. We're projected being 2019 Cup winners. If that's what we are, we have to see what our farm team can do. And this is how you learn, is maybe Patan and Lemieux get some chemistry. Maybe we learn how to score at the AHL level and they're able to bring it up to the NHL level because these are the guys that are going to be in the NHL in 3 to 4 years.
Example, Norfolk Admirals a couple years ago, all of the Tampa Bay prospects won it. They went
They won
29 straight games, guys.
Yeah.
And then I'm not saying the Jets or the Moose will do that, but that'd be awesome.
Keep in
And
mind
then
though.
they won, and now they're there. Go
Keep
ahead.
in mind they've stated the Moose are a developmental team. So there's no veterans. There's no AHL veterans on that team. So they have a very young team. So
Good, perfect.
So that could go,
That'd be beautiful.
it could go against them, but
They could.
they aren't necessarily building that team to win. They're building that team to develop their prospects,
You know
which
what's
I
the
think is
other-
right, but it might cost them.
Who's the coach of the Moose?
Keith McCambridge.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if him and Maurice sit in the same room, examine the same film to make sure
Probably.
those guys play Cambridge hockey, but still that is Maurice hockey at the end of the day.
Yes.
Oh,
That is how that's going to be done.
they already play somewhere. Apparently, they already play the same system.
Okay, perfect. Because then we're going to have a Grand Rapids
Yeah.
Detroit
Where
situation,
they're
which
playing the
is
same
exactly
system,
what
they bloop plop
And I
in, you already
think
know
with
how to
the
play.
convenience of how close the AHL team will be, you'll see a lot more call-ups and player
Close.
changes.
Close. How close?
I
How
didn't
close
know
are
this.
they?
I didn't know this. Apparently, from St. John's to Winnipeg, 3 planes.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't think it was
Okay,
that
so
bad.
let's
well,
map this out. Montreal,
Probably.
Toronto.
I would
here.
probably say you're going Halifax or Montreal, but I could see Halifax being the main. Then you go Halifax to either Toronto or Montreal,
and then to
And then
Winnipeg.
and then
here.
Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Damn.
I didn't know that. I heard that
Neither
in
did I.
1290. Crazy.
That's
Instead
nuts.
of the
So they're going
whole-
to save a lot of money.
Hey,
Oh, God, yeah.
this is gonna sound dumb. Do the Moose have a dressing room permanently at
Yes.
the MTS Center?
Yes,
or do they share the Jets one?
I believe they took over the away dressing room.
So where's the away dressing
They
room?
probably
In the hallway.
yes. Well, they used to have dressing rooms for, you could rent the ice. I don't think you can do it anymore at the MTS Center. You used to be able to rent the ice, so they had rooms for that. So I wouldn't be surprised if they just mashed those 2 rooms together and made a
Those rooms
drying
are
room.
tiny. I've been in one of those. And I guess that's our advantage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have you seen some of their away dressing rooms?
Nassau
They're not big.
Coliseum. The rain comes in from the roof.
Speaking of that,
Go.
Barclays Center voted awful by most of the players that are playing in it.
Really?
Not a hockey arena. They are
What do
not
you mean?
happy.
They've
With it.
only played a few exhibition games.
They haven't even
A
done
lot
that.
of the
Last
writers,
year they played one.
a lot of the writers that a lot of the scouts do not like the arena.
Yeah,
Period.
the sightlines suck. It was built for basketball. No shit,
Exactly.
no one's gonna like bad hockey.
The Air Canada Center was built for
Oh, they
basketball.
officially announced the black uniform today.
Oh God, is
Yeah.
that ugly?
It's something.
It's not ugly. It's just meh. I don't know.
You
I
know,
didn't know they
speaking of alternates, Nick actually emailed us last week. We didn't get time to get it. He
Oh.
said, "What do you think the third?" Basically, narrowed it down. What do you think the third jersey is going to be? And he says he had heard
Old
of
Manitoba
Wallace.
Moose
Going
jersey.
to be or should be?
Old Manitoba Moose jerseys.
Sure.
Why would
what
the
do
Jets
we
wear a
think?
Moose jersey when the Moose are back?
Sorry. What do we think?
Because reasons.
No, what do we think? Read
I think the
email
Moose
us.
are going to wear those this year because
We got to get in contact
I
with
think
Nick,
the
by
Moose
way.
are going to wear those this year because they're selling them at the Jets store. The old ones.
What?
The green and brown ones.
I'm going. Bye.
Yeah.
It's Georgina!
Oh yeah, they're actually selling those at the Jets store, and they have brand new Reebok T-shirts and long sleeve Moose hockey, but it's the
Get 'em
old
while
but it's the brown and green when they left
Well,
logo.
Get them
I-
while they're hot because Adidas officially announced
I
that
think
they're
they're
going
gonna-
to be the official supplier of NHL Outfitter in 2017-18. So,
However, we'll not be doing ads on jerseys.
Nope.
what do you
There's
mean?
been,
They
Gary
said
Bettman came out and said there's been no discussions about ads at all.
so. All this hoofla about potential ads, nothing
Nothing.
yet.
Yeah,
Not
what
tomorrow.
was the picture from or the picture? What was
The
the
email?
email from Nick there?
If you had a third jersey, if the Jets had a third jersey, what would you want it to be? Not what do you think it's going to be? I'm going to come out and say it. The jerseys they wore for Team Muslani night, I want those. If I can pick,
With goals for kids on the patches.
If
want goals for kids.
if I can pick, I want those, and they're going to be the white. Well, I guess it has to be a dark jersey, right? Because it's third.
Well, no, they could be whites.
No, they could do whatever they want.
They can
Then
do
I-
whatever- you
I
can
want
do
those.
whatever you want.
I want those.
The OG gangster.
Yeah, goddamn right. They look great. They look fantastic.
The 96 jerseys
Yeah.
is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
The OG gangster.
Fantastic.
All right.
I just love the old logo.
Yeah.
I think- I think it needs the old logo somehow.
Well, talking.
What
just
about
think-
you? What about you? Yeah.
Me?
What do you want?
Yeah, what do you want?
Not
What do I-
think, want. If
Okay,
you could
what do
pick
I
it.
want?
If you could pick.
The old logo. It's got to be.
Yeah.
But what do I think? Remember the Manitoba Moose Canadian Army baby blue ones?
Yep, that's
Those ones.
that was exactly where I was going to go.
But
with
not
that
a
too.
Moose logo.
No, it was
no,
not.
but
It was actually what the Jets jersey was looking like.
It's one of the ideas allegedly that they
Yeah.
used as a
gonna
template for the
Google it.
Jets jersey.
Yeah.
Just
So
type
what
in
it is?
Manitoba Moose Canadian Armed Forces thing.
So what it was it had red shoulders.
Yeah.
And then it had a ray of red and blue stripes on it, and then the face of it was blue. But what they had in the middle was they had a similar logo to the Jets logo. It was a round logo with a plane in the middle. So it was very, very close
It was
to
a
what
Maple
the
Leaf
Jets.
thingy, wasn't
It was a Maple Leaf, sorry.
But they
pardon
were
me.
nice.
They were
These?
nice.
Yeah.
Yes, those.
something
They
like
actually
that.
wore those.
Yeah.
No, or the Moose wore 'em, yeah.
Moose
Oh, and the
wore 'em,
Moose
yeah.
the Moose and Jets announced their promotional night. Brian Little gets a bobblehead this year. And
that
April
bobblehead.
3rd.
I still need the Blake
April
Wheeler one. I didn't get
April
one.
3rd, I believe it's against a Wild. It's a
It's
Sunday.
the last game of the
I'll
year.
be going there.
It's the second last game of the year.
Second last game.
Last home game.
No,
Oh, last home game. There you
They,
go. Okay.
well, yeah, because they finished the season going through Death Valley.
Fourth last game of the
Do
year.
they?
Yep.
No!
Yep.
Yeah.
No back to backs though. They get a day off between each game.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's okay.
So, to move on though from that, I think old Jets jersey. That's the only way you can go. But
I'd find blue or white. I don't care as long as that.
Yeah, I don't care
It'd be
either.
great.
but to move on from that, where were we? Bruins. Patrick Kane apparently going to training camp.
He is.
He is. He
was
reported
there.
that
He was there today.
He
Yeah.
said, I can't believe this.
When all the facts come to light, he'll be acquitted of the charges. Essentially, is what he said. He
He said he did nothing wrong.
he'll be. Essentially, he says once it all comes to light, he'll be like
I wouldn't even.
like people will just forget about it.
Yeah. Well,
But-
I can't believe he even said anything. Do you guys have anything to say on it apart from just the news that came out? or-
Other than what we've already said, it's
Yeah.
it's a topic we've exhausted. I think.
Yeah.
Once again, I don't really care. I don't look at it any differently. I
Well,
think
if
he's
we're
still
going
a
to
very
continue
talented
talking about
hockey
this
player.
season, 3-on-3 OT formats coming in this year. We know.
Mhm.
The teams wanted, instead of to waste time on practice in doing 3-on-3, the NHL it's doing mandatory 3-on. If your game goes into overtime, you get 3-on-3, but each team gets
It's 4-on-4, then 3-on-3, isn't it?
No, 3-on-3 flat, isn't it?
I thought it was 4-on-4 for 4 minutes, then 3-on-3 for 3 minutes, then a shootout.
Oh, I thought it
That's
was
the way it
3-on-3.
works,
Okay, either way,
Yeah.
the 3-on-3 format will be practiced. Each team got 2 games to do it, like guaranteed, even if you lose or whatever. Wednesday, September 23rd, Jets at Oilers. That's one of the games. So even if they lose at the end, you get 5 minutes of 3-on-3 to
Just,
find.
cool.
just to see what
Yeah,
happens.
they just want to see.
And it doesn't affect the score.
No.
That is correct. And then Thursday, October 1st, against the Flames. Oilers, I just want to say, holy sweet mama. They're going to have some good 3-on-3s.
Here's
Are
what I
either
think.
those
Connor
games-
McJeesy.
Here's what you do: Josh Morrissey, Nick Petan, Nikolai Ehlers. Let them go. Let them see what they can do.
No, and
Yeah.
it's preseason. It means nothing. Do
Yeah.
it. It's preseason anyway.
And you know what? If they're going against the other rookies, most likely it's not going to be a fourth line grinder kind of guy who's going to go out and try to hit somebody.
Darnell
It's going
Nurse,
to be a lot. It's going to be a
Connor
lot of skill.
McJeesy, doesn't matter.
Leon Draisaitl.
Leon just had him.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
What Once again, all first-round picks. They don't know how to pick anything past the first round.
Dan, what would it take?
There is only the first round.
What would it take to make you like PK Subban?
Would it take
a
to like
$10
him?
million donation to Montreal Children's Hospital
Yeah.
over the next 7
I
years?
saw that. That was nice.
That's awesome.
No, it was great.
Good for him.
That's great.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what? I don't have an issue with his personality. I think he's
No.
a great person off
On
the
ice. It's his on ice? The
I think part of
brashness.
it's on
I
ice.
think he just needs to get put in his place a little bit. That on the ice.
But you
Is
know
that
what?
a nice
He's
word
very
of saying you want him to get his ass kicked?
Yeah.
That is a nice way of
pretty
saying
much.
that. Like,
I think Marty McSorley needs to just deal with him.
is that the guy who
But-
swung the stick? Dang,
Yeah.
Greg.
That's
But-
extreme. That's
Yeah,
extreme.
it's a little mean.
No, I don't mean like actually swing the stick, but
Greg
like,
basically.
I just want
I
him-
think
you know
Bobby
what?
Clark needs to
You know
say
what?
hi to him.
The next
break his
time,
ankle.
the next time he starts something and the other guy's like, "Fine, let's fucking fight," and he actually drops the gloves and fights the guy, I'll give him respect. Because until he does that,
I still
I'm
give
quoting you.
him respect.
I'm holding you to that one.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
it hasn't happened yet. So
I
Yeah.
respect. I think
he's
a good hockey
talented.
player,
He's talented.
and I think he's a good guy. Continue.
Oh, Daniel Alfredson got appointed senior advisor of hockey operations in Ottawa.
I'd be very curious to know what happened in that room which made him go to Detroit.
That's something
Between
that's not
him and
talked
Brian
about,
Murray.
based off even the silence right there that
I
happened.
know.
Is that
I remember hearing
never
something
thought
about it,
about
but I can't.
But no, the thing is like the guy was a legend in Ottawa, and it didn't seem that anybody wanted to talk to him, or not talk to him. Sorry, but he didn't want to sign a deal. It was alleged that he was going to sign a deal. Then he went to Detroit. It looked like there was bad blood between him and Murray. But now with his job, it's like, well,
I
what
think
happened?
there was bad blood, and then when the whole
Bad blood.
when the whole cancer diagnosis for Brian Murray came out, I think that kind of got rid of. I think they both kind of said, "This is stupid," you know.
Yeah, why?
It made them rethink everything. I think, which is great.
Yeah, and again, like as we talked about earlier, like money, sure, it's as big of an issue, but family and like winning and like obviously they're family, you know, just based off their business perspective. But
Exactly.
there's a lot more things more important than money. Namely, like if you're a hockey player or a professional athlete, you want to win the mecca of your league, namely the Stanley Cup.
Yep.
So.
And to throw something else in there, I don't know if you had anything about it, but Brian Murray's contract as GM is up at the end of this year. But he's leaving it open that he might keep going after this year if his health holds up and if he feels like he can do it, he might stay on.
I'm
for a
sure
little
though,
bit,
even
so.
if he doesn't like think he could fully hold up, they'll definitely keep him on at like a senior VP or
It's
something
something that
Of
is some
course,
sort of
right.
consulting.
like that. Yeah, they're not gonna just do that to him. So
Or he
Well,
can,
no, they wouldn't do that to him. It's him. It's his choice.
Yeah,
of course.
I think he's been able to do a lot with that team, which is good to know.
That's the Ottawa Senators and Nashville always be able to get the best out of what they have, which is insane.
Coaching, a lot of it is coaching.
Yep.
And coaching too.
Yep.
Speaking of semi-decent coaches, Patrick Waugh, what happened? First off, second off though, the Avs made a trade, Stephen Elliott to the Coyotes
Yeah.
for Brandon Gormley. Do you think this makes an impact at all?
Nope.
I don't remember Gormley making an
You want my honest
impact in
answer?
Coyotes.
Nope.
I remember Stephen Elliott coming up 2 years ago playing a few games for Colorado, and I kind of liked him. I liked the cut of his jib, you might say.
Cut of his jib.
Yeah.
That is a new one.
I've heard
No,
that
that is
before,
a
but
old
that
one.
sounds a little.
That is an old. That's not. A
When
new
I think
one.
of
That
jib,
is
I
from,
think of like that snowboard move from like
Yeah.
SX.
I work
Tricky.
with old people, and they say that sometimes. Just
Cut
as
of the
jokes.
old
Cut of the jib, eh?
I like the cut of your jib. That's what he
Really?
says to me sometimes. Yeah, it's funny. I always laugh.
Okay, all right.
He comes into my office sometimes and does wrestler poses. It's pretty funny.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right on.
I work.
So we,
but nonetheless,
we basically all agree it might make a difference.
no, I don't think it will. Like maybe Brandon Gormley plays for Colorado. I don't know. Like I think Stephen Elliott. I wouldn't be surprised if he makes bottom pairing in Arizona, but so whatever trade really. It's a like really coming out of junior. I believe that Gormley was at Moncton with the Wildcats. So that's where he came from, and I think he was touted. Like he was going to be a decent player, just hasn't panned out. So.
Well, speaking of average trades as well, the Hawks traded Christopher Steek again. Joakim Nordstrom,
It's like a yearly occurrence.
third round in 2017 to the Canes for Dennis Robertson, Jake Massel, and a fifth round pick in 2017.
You know what this means?
You know what that trade does? Absolutely nothing for the NHL. Thanks,
I think
guys.
this means Christopher Teague played for pretty much every Southeast Division team except for the Jets.
Well, let's go down. What's
No,
it?
No,
has
he
not played
hasn't.
for Washington.
Or Tampa.
Yet.
Or Tampa.
Yet.
Or Tampa. It's coming.
But He's also played for the Leafs
Okay.
and had his car keyed.
Oh, wait,
Did he
He was
really?
in Toronto.
He did
yeah.
play for the Leafs for like a
He had
couple
his,
years.
like someone found out whose car it was and they keyed it. That's a little ruthless. That's
Not as ruthless as I'm going to get on those Seahawks fans. Boom. I'm just going to hold up a sign saying Russell Wilson is not a top 10 quarterback.
Yeah.
Ooh, good luck with that one.
And then on the other side, where's your God now?
No. I'll on the other side, I'll be like, Aaron Rodgers is Jesus. Just
Aaron Rodgers is. Well, we could talk about. We have a few signings and then not much left to talk about.
I have one question to end the podcast.
Perfect. Brock Nelson signs a 3-year deal, $7.5 million, average of 2.5, and I actually had to pull up my calculator to figure the average.
Okay.
To be honest, with the Isles, Jonathan
Whoa,
Huberdeau.
whoa, whoa, whoa. Back up first. You needed to. You
I'm
need to
not a
pull out your
numbers
calculator for 7.5.
Yeah, divided by 3.
What is 75 cents?
Yeah, I
Divided
know.
by. If you have 3 quarters, what does that equal?
75.
What is 3?
I didn't think about it when it was the dot, the decimal point. Jonathan Huberdeau,
The
2
decimal point.
Get out of here. Jonathan Huberdeau, 2 years, $6.5 million, average of 3.25.
What do you think of that deal?
I like it.
Serviceable.
Great bridge deal.
Pretty good
Great
bridge.
deal.
And
Yeah.
you know what? This bridge deal, I'm not gonna
Mark
say
Scheifele.
it's not too far of a stretch to say Mark Scheifele will get something very
Yes, me
similar
too.
to this.
And it was interesting because there were apparently rumored up to 8 teams that were circling an offer sheet for him.
A lot of people are kicking tires, as they say.
Kicking the old tires.
Really?
Which is the weirdest thing I've ever heard. It's like, that has got to be the...
Who kicks a tire?
Who just sits there and... Like, I understand you're not really doing anything kicking a tire. Like, I understand that's what the meaning is. But who just invented that? They're like, one day they're like, well, we want to buy this house. Stop kicking tires. Where does that saying come from?
There's a lot of sayings.
2 old rednecks sitting in the yard. He's like, hey, Bill, you know what'd be funny? If you wouldn't kick that tire over there.
Oh, look, Bill.
Oh shit, my toe! Damn it!
Damn it, Bill, stop kicking tires.
Well, speaking of kicking tires and guys that waited way too long to sign contracts, Cody Franson signs a 2-year deal,
Yes.
6.65, 3.325 per with the Sabres.
You want to hear the interesting thing about that
Go,
deal?
let me
That's
have it.
how much he was asking for. That 6.65 was how much he was asking for
And
from
no
the
one
Leafs.
would meet him on that.
And the Leafs would have given him probably 5. But now you see, this is what happens when you wait this long in free agency.
Dare I say it, he went to a better team?
That is a no. That beep was
Really?
a no.
Really?
Then Toronto?
Buffalo?
Well,
They got pretty good.
Evander Kane was
Let me
quoted
tell you.
as saying, misquoted as saying, by the way, that he thinks 40 and 50 is doable. But at the start of the quote, he says, I believe I can get 30 goals if I play 82, 40 or 50 in the future. If I stay healthy, it's foreseeable.
So he's
But the
become
only
humble.
quote was Kane says he could get 40 or 50.
So he's become humble from 2 years ago, and he's like, yeah, I'll get 50 this year. Or was that last year?
you know what?
That's probably both.
I
ways.
want to see what he can do.
Mhm.
I don't think I'm going to dislike... I think separation is going to be good. I think not dealing with him for a
Yeah.
while is going to be nice.
I hope the
Har-
Jets keep Byfuglien just for that game
Space makes
Here.
the love
against
time.
Buffalo.
What's
That's-
that quote? It's like, time makes the heart grow fonder. Yes.
Nailed it.
In the
Tracks-
background, if you guys
tracksuit
are
day.
listening, I just had an aneurysm. And then one more signing that I heard of was Michael Furland, 2 years, 1.65. It's $825K per with the Flames.
That's a good deal.
It's a good deal for
Injuries.
having a good playoff.
Injuries. We don't ever want to wish injuries on anybody.
No.
Brett Ritchie
Oh.
went for surgery, ligament
Who's
in
he
his
play
right
for?
wrist.
Is he Dallas?
Dallas Stars. Their top prospect, one of. 3 to 4 months
I
out.
thought Jordy Ben was their top prospect.
Well,
They're still
hey,
waiting for him to pan out?
No. Jordy Ben is a superstar.
Or is it-
He is.
Or is it
You just
Anthony Emmy
wait
they're
out.
waiting for?
They're waiting for a lot. Oh!
Take a pick of their 8 superstars.
Are we talking
on that
about
team.
superstars and people retiring? Of course we aren't. Daniel Carcillo announces his retirement after 9 seasons.
Do you know who else announced their retirement? that
Well,
you
yeah,
can
let me
nominate?
lead into
Okay.
it. Easy,
Jeez.
MacGyver. Carcillo won 2 cups, 48 goals, 52 assists, 100 points, 1,200.
In his career?
Yeah. Shut up! Wait! 1,223 PIMs in 429 games played. That's
Okay.
not terrible. I mean,
Oh,
It's not terrible
wow.
for a rat.
That's a
400
point.
he
That's
only
a point every like
4 games.
4-ish games.
For a rat, that's
now,
not bad.
here's the
Yeah.
other thing.
For
I
2
know I
cups.
laughed, but I thought he played more games. Now I feel bad for Carcillo because he's like 80 games away from getting pension. Because pension's at 500 games.
Really?
I believe, yes.
Well,
It's either 400 or 500, but I'm pretty
well,
sure it's
this
500.
gentleman definitely got pension. Simone Gagne also announces his retirement after 14 seasons. He won 1 cup with LA. He had
good for him.
291 goals, 310
Didn't he-
assists, 601 points, and 820.
He wasn't on the
games
04 Lightning team that won the Cup?
No, he played for Tampa
No.
later on.
Yeah.
Okay. The one thing I have to say about Simon Gagne, awesome for him. I really liked him. I've liked him forever. I always wish that Toronto got him at some
Where's
point.
the butt?
But the very interesting connection between all three of the players that have retired this summer.
Who's the other one? Oh, Rich Peverly. And
No,
there's a
well,
few
besides
others.
Rich Beverly. But the three main ones that we've talked about, Danny Briere, Daniel Carcillo, Simone Gagne, all former Flyers.
Yeah.
So it means Flyers can get guys who they draft good players who play a long
It means
time
if
in
you
the
play
NHL.
for
They can draft
Philadelphia,
guys
you're
and
going to
just can't
retire.
keep them.
Exactly.
Well, that's because that was when
'Cause
Holmgren was at
really,
the helm.
if
and
you-
he's like, all right, baby, I
if you
see
think
a
about it,
second line.
all
Let's
these
trade the
guys,
prospect.
all these guys played for Philadelphia. They had decent careers in the NHL, but they moved on after Philadelphia, which makes me beg the question: does that mean Claude Giroux and Jakub Voracek are going to different places at some point in their career?
I hope not.
But
I think so.
That'd be
Did you
fun.
guys see there's a video of they asked superstars to guess their player ratings for NHL
yeah, I saw
16?
that.
I didn't.
And they asked Giroux, he's like, 91, and he nailed it. And he's like, oh, who's the best guy? And they flashed Sidney Crosby, and Crosby's like, and Giroux's like, oh, really? He's like, I'm not that good, am I? It was just really funny because it's like him and Crosby.
Giroux can
And they
make fun
don't
of
like
him.
each other, we all know that.
But,
So,
you know,
I
they
think-
know when to cover it up, when to, put on a face and just do it. So.
Yeah.
Who knows? I could see them becoming like friends, like having cabins next to each other when they retire, and just be like, "Remember that time?" Or they could end up like the Grey Cup guys who fought at a Grey
Yeah,
Cup
with the
dinner
swing in the air.
with the swing of the cane.
Oh, the two old guys?
Yeah.
Great.
Do you have
Classic.
anything else to touch on?
No, I'm done.
'Kay.
man.
No.
All right, let's have it.
So I have two questions for you guys.
Okay.
Heading into the season, do you see a Steven Stamkos extension happening before the season starts?
So that means before game one, because
Before October.
they can't talk after. Exit.
Mm,
They have 3 weeks to
They have
hash
3
out
weeks.
a contract.
No.
I'm going to say no as well with Dan, only because it's not. I'm certain they have the money and the term agreed upon. It's the little things that they got to hash out, like no trade
signing
clause,
bonus.
signing bonus,
And I think they
contract
want
bonus, everything like that. I think they have the years and the number, and I'm 100%. Steven Stamkos isn't going anywhere.
No.
Let's get real.
No.
Yeah.
No way. Like we talked about it last week. You brought it up that maybe they do part with Stamkos because what could come back in all these contracts. They have a number worked out. It might make him. I'm sure he'll be the highest paid player, not by much, but I can't see. That's a perfect place for him to play.
And I think if they wait,
No taxes.
I think
There
that
you go.
I think that gives them half a season, 3/4 of a season to really look at the young guys and say who do we want to keep and who's expendable, because they're not going to be able to keep all of them.
I think the most expendable of the young three,
Kucherov.
Andre Platt.
Damn, that was the other.
I
guy.
know that
wasn't
he
gonna
has-
say Johnson.
The reason why I say Platt is he has the ability to score. He can play. He's good on both ends of the puck, and he's a and he's a leader.
Okay.
He's a tough guy to lose, but the value you can get for him is very high.
Oh, so it's
Because-
not necessarily what he it's what he will bring for you, not what he doesn't bring.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think I think Tyler Johnson fetches a lot, but it's tough to lose a second line center as good as he is. One thing I was going to note about Andrew Ladd's contract that I forgot to note, I don't want to be in the scenario that Anaheim's going to be in with Ryan Kessler, because his contract takes him till 38 and he's making like 6.5.
True.
And I don't want Ladd in the same boat because I don't think Kessler's going to be that serviceable at 38. But circling back to my last question, how much of an underlying storyline is the expansion or potential expansion going to be all season long?
Would it happen next summer?
No.
No, 2 years.
2 years from now.
2017-18 season.
Oh, but they're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
How much? What do you mean by that?
Well, do
Are
you
they going to
think,
talk about it on TSN at least once a week?
or is it going to be one of those things that's mentioned a lot that we start hearing more and
Oh,
more rumors?
Do you think
Yes.
they'll
More
officially? Do
steamrolling?
you think they'll officially announce the expansion teams this season sometime?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yes. Yeah. No, you know what? That's a great.
Because we all know
great
who they're going to
questions.
be. So do you think they'll? Because there's only 2 groups that have been invited to keep going with the process. So do you think they announce Quebec City and Las Vegas sometime this year? They say in 2 years these teams
I think
come
they
in?
officially announce it in next year's draft. But I think it's well confirmed, or it's confirmed well in advance that it'll happen. I'm with you guys. Great questions, though. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that it's going to snowball effect what you said, Greg. I totally believe that we're gonna. it's almost going to be annoying at that point. Of like, okay, we get it. Yeah, there's going to be an expansion. I'd love to see it. No, sorry, I don't want to see it, but I'd love to see the amount of speculation that's going to happen. I don't know. I don't like ongoing storylines, so it's annoying.
Yeah, and understandable, but we're gonna.
You watch
we're gonna have to
wrestling and
hear-
you don't like ongoing storylines?
Good,
He
valid
likes-
point. Sorry, but that's because
Come
it's
on.
like, yeah. Good
Not
point.
even when they involve.
Wow.
Oh,
Sorry,
yeah.
I had to try to fit it in one more time.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
That's fine.
It's a charm.
That's what he
You have
said
any
to
closing
her.
words, guys?
That's what he said to her. Just have to
His
try to
name
fit
is-
it in one more time.
Oh, my God.
Knorr's
Yeah,
changed me. What
Yeah,
can I
yeah.
say?
Oh, yeah, clearly. Yeah.
Closing
Closing words before your big weekend, Greg. Give advice to future Greg.
Future Greg.
Hey,
No,
Greg,
sorry.
get it cleaned
No.
up. Go to the doctor. You're gonna need that ointment.
Ooh.
Hey, future Greg. Here's your grocery list for when you get back.
Are you okay?
Fruits, vegetables, no fats, no sugars.
Give
Because
Greg his
you're-
grocery list. That's a comment. Question. Comment down below. Send Greg grocery lists.
No, but the
and
problem
he will
is-
buy it.
Here's the problem though, is because when I come back, I'm going on a health kick because I'm going full American.
Are you going deep fried cheese curds?
I'm going deep fried everything. If
Yeah.
I could deep fry my foot, I'm
No,
deep frying my
don't!
foot.
I've seen videos of hands by accident. You don't want to see it. It's painful.
You can't
No.
unsee it.
But I mean, like, I'm going to deep fry everything. Be like, sir, we don't serve that. Yes, you do. Just deep fry it. We can't. You can deep
Sir,
fry
this is a bag of Funyuns. Yeah, I said deep fried. There's plastic. Deep fried.
Put it in the grease.
it. Sir, we already deep fried this one. Deep fried again.
Deep fry my deep fry.
Don't they? Isn't there a steak or something? Chicken fried
Chicken
steak-
fried steak?
No.
They
Yeah, it's
double-
chicken fried. No, yeah, chicken fried shake.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Okay. All right, Dan.
It's
Closing
fast.
notes.
America food. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm jacked up that people are
It's
listening
good.
to us.
You know what?
And the comments. And
I have,
stuff,
to,
it's so
I have
cool.
to thank the listeners for listening to us and keep it going. You know, this is a year and a little bit, and we're gonna keep going here. Like
Yeah.
I'm still excited to get on here every week, whether it's by phone or in person.
And we're stepping up our podcast game. We're getting sound effects in here.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
like totally not even
Exactly.
edited in either.
No,
we're just
no.
like fresh
We're
off,
just ready to
fresh
go.
off right
Yeah,
there.
we're the highest quality of podcast.
Yeah.
I still want to work on getting us a guest at some point, but that will
We
be
could have
more
Nick.
next
We
year.
gotta get Nick.
Yeah, he
That's
wants
my
good.
job. That's my job. It's
Okay.
been ongoing for
But-
2 weeks. I'm sorry, Nick.
I mean, no offense to Nick, nothing bad against Nick. I want to get somebody with like credentials in the NHL, just to talk
In
about
the
their story.
NHL, how about
Talk-
let's start like lower at the
Okay.
AHL maybe?
We're just gonna go right for the big league.
I mean, hey,
Let's
I
go
could've-
for Gary Lawless. Let's just get him in here. Because you know what? I was talking to Cam about this when he was helping me move to Kenora. So, guys, thank Cam in the comment section. Be like, thanks, Cam, for helping Greg move to Kenora.
I didn't help really.
He did
I didn't
nothing.
do
He
much.
did nothing
I
at all.
filmed Greg
You
and
know what?
pissed him off.
The one thing Cam did was he carried everything into my place while I was trying to
Well,
work,
that's because
work
he
my
was
TV.
setting up. It's easy,
Yeah.
and they weren't big boxes. Let's
No.
clear that up. It was like
So,
a 5 or 6 bags.
It was very nice of Cam to help me out. But we were discussing this on the way up there and saying how the three of us, we disagree with what Lawless has said in the past. But it'd be very interesting to have a guy like him who writes controversial articles on the podcast because we could get a different point of view. A guy that's seen the players play. Even like, I'm asking why he's written the things he's written. Because for me, it would give me peace of mind. I'm sure he's a okay guy. I've heard he's pompous. But I'm sure if we had him in this scenario, brought him to our basement and chained him, it'd be totally fine. There wouldn't be anything bad
And
happening.
you have to keep in mind, as much as we might disagree with him, he knows more than we do.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
knows way
He
more than we
gets
do.
paid to do it.
He's
Yes.
there.
He's around
And you know what?
hockey. TSN people know who he is. Basically, because it takes up. I'm not going to go there.
I appreciate his. No, you know what?
We're trying to get him on. Or
Yeah, I
like,
know,
you
exactly.
what?
That's why I
Us
stopped.
Jewish
That's
kids.
why I stopped.
You know what? I appreciate his articles. I just don't like the articles when he makes a story up because there is no story.
But that's what's a question we could ask.
Almost
Maybe
every
there's
media
gotta
guy.
be stories.
Almost every media guy does that. So you know
Yeah.
what?
Hey, at least it's nothing like Steve Simmons and the hot dog cart with Phil Kessel. By the way, you never read that article?
No, I did not.
Okay, the article was just saying how with Kessel getting traded to Pittsburgh, we talked about it on this podcast, how Kessel getting traded to Pittsburgh would put like the guy's hot dog stand out of business because he was essentially saying Kessel was fat.
That's not very
And
nice
ate
at
hot
all.
dogs every day.
That's
Yeah.
terrible. That's mean.
That's very mean to a cancer survivor that retains a little bit extra body fat that we've mentioned so many times on this podcast.
Yeah. Oodles and oodles because he's
That-
awesome.
He is awesome.
All right.
I still think he's going to win the Rocket Richard this year. I took a great bet again this week. Remember the bet I took last year that Scheifele would outscore Lowry? I won that one. Do you know what bet I took this year? That Phil Kessel is going to outscore Adam Lowry.
I mean,
Who took that
sir
bet
or
against
ma'am,
you?
whoever is making these bets, I mean,
Who took that bet against
I
you?
do like Adam Lowry, but he's no Phil Kessel. Let's clear that up.
And then
right now.
I still want to take a bet where someone's like, okay, how many Jets are going to score more than 60? I said, 1. One Jet will probably score 60 points. Won't score over.
I'll take 2.
I said 1. He said, how about this? We go over under 5. I said, fine, I'll take the
5
under.
Jets at
Yeah,
60.
under.
Yeah,
Damn.
I took the under.
Jesus.
I can see 3 at most.
Yeah, his prediction was Little,
Yeah.
Wheeler,
Yeah.
Ladd, Scheifele, Byfuglien.
Okay, I take it back. I can see 4. I can see Buff doing it. I can't see.
It's-
Scheifele.
I got
Here's
Ladd
the-
Wheeler.
no, but here's the problem that I have, and this was the point that I brought up to him. I said, are those players capable of scoring 60? Yes. But what do they play on? They play on a team that is a 4-line hockey team that every line can score, every line spreads out the scoring.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be surprised when there's not a ton of guys high up on the NHL scoring list because they don't heavily rely on one line to get all their
They
scoring.
balance it out.
That's the difference. And that's why I don't think that's going to happen. Not a knock against the Jets. They could have 10 50-point guys, 10 40-point guys.
They usually do.
And that's the difference, is they have scoring out all along their lines, which is what you need to be an actual great winner.
They could have 2 40 to 50 point defensemen.
Very true.
Tyler Myers, Dustin Byfuglien.
Mhm.
They're both capable of doing it.
But I think it's
So,
time to wrap
interesting.
everything up. So, guys, check us out on Twitter at LastManNPC. Email us at lastmanNPC@gmail.com. We read all of our emails every week. Also, if you want to, you can leave a comment on the YouTube video if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening online on either iTunes or Podomatic, thank you guys very much. Please check out our Twitter or our Gmail if you have any questions, comments, or concerns.
You know what's awesome? The next time we do this podcast, there'll be a Winnipeg Jet game.
Guys, do you know what else
piss.
is going to be
Because they
awesome?
play next Tuesday.
And
Bam.
we're doing it next Tuesday.
We are.
No, you're not, because I'm at the Jets game.
We're doing it next Tuesday.
Okay, well.
Without Dan.
See you later.
Me and Cam.
Again.
Woo!